So, Dustin, here we are, man. It's been a long journey to get here, literally, and in terms of travel time. We're a long way from Lafayette, Louisiana, but just first talk about coming over here, long journey for you. What do you think about, like, on the plane ride and stuff? Those are long hours where you're just kind of sitting by yourself. Are you thinking all about the fight? Are you watching movies? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think it was 21 hours total time, including a 3-hour layover in London.
Yeah.
I watch movies. Think about the fight sometimes, try to take a nap, just try to stay calm and chill out.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to have, I'm sure, your team around you and whatnot, and you land and kind of get a hero's welcome. I mean, was that even anything beyond what you could have imagined? Just like, there's banners for you, there's people, teaching you how to dance, just really welcoming you into the culture.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I've been saying it all week. I've fought all over, and I've never had a reception like that. Getting off the airplane, I didn't even have to go through customs. The Abu Dhabi board of entertainment or came get me from my plane, walked me through back way. I went to VIP arrival. It was nuts, man. I was treated like I was a king or something.
Yeah. What was, like, those dance moves that they were teaching you and stuff? Like, was that a little uncomfortable for you, or are you just like enjoying it?
Yeah, not because they kind of pushed me into it,
right?
And then I was in arms with the guys, and then they started dancing. I was like, I'm just gonna go with the flow. Let's dance it up.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been obviously hanging around here a few extra days and stuff. You came in before fight week officially started, but today you kind of got your first true look at open workouts in front of the crowd and everything. How'd that go relative to your expectations? There was a pretty nice crowd there at the Yas Mall. It seems like you got a little bit of a mixed reaction, but what was your takeaway from that?
I felt like there was more supporters than people booing me and stuff. Right when I walked in, there was a few Khabib fans with the banner to the left, and I can hear them booing and stuff. But other than that, I heard a lot of people cheering, and I think they're just excited to see a good fight.
Yeah, no, and so you don't feel like anymore. I know you were originally saying like enemy territory, all those things. It doesn't really feel that way so much anymore, right?
No, it's not that I thought I was going to walk off the plane and it was going to be, I have to be careful everywhere, look around the corner. It's what I thought I was going to be in enemy territory, and it's not that at all. Like I said, this is the best place I've come to and been received so well. Everybody's been nice. The service everywhere I go is incredible. Yeah. The city's beautiful. It's been an amazing trip.
Yeah. Does that just help you be more relaxed, like, throughout the process of fight week? I mean, obviously it's all about the night of the fight, but just leading up, I'm sure it takes a little bit more off your shoulders.
Yeah. Fighting is stressful, so if the week goes smooth, everything's clicking, it just makes it that much easier.
Yeah, and it sounds like your weight has been, from when we've been talking throughout camp, it's, you came in, I think you said 3 pounds heavier than when you started the last camp, but it's been working its way down. And talking to all your coaches and everyone around you, they're saying this is the best shape you've been in your life, the most prepared you've been. How can you really, like, physically gauge that, like, why, how you're in the best shape? Is it a feeling? Is it, the numbers that you see in terms of, like, what you're producing in training?
The way I feel, obviously resting heart rate is a good indicator of cardiovascular shape, and I'm at the lowest I've ever been in my career, because I usually track that type of stuff.
Yeah.
My weight's great. I did extra stuff to get that down because I knew we'd be coming here, and I knew the fight was going to be taxing. I didn't want to cut up too much weight when I was out here. Mm-hmm. So everything's going smooth. Working with George Lockhart, we brought nutritionist chef Eric Pena with us, part of George Lockhart's team, and he's been making my meals all fight week. Usually I do my own thing, and it's been great, man. Everything's perfect.
Yeah, what kind of stuff are you eating, like, this close to the fight?
I just ate a piece of salmon with some beets, a couple slices of orange. Right now we're cutting carbs out, obviously, but fats and proteins right now.
Yeah, what do you do post weigh-in? Do you have, like, something that you like to eat, or do you kind of still keep it very clean after weighing in, just because you have to fight the next day, obviously?
I've been on a 10-week diet, so it's tough to not grab something here and there after weigh-ins before the fight. But I try my best to keep it clean. Keep it clean and healthy in pure ingredients, nothing processed, really simple stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel like, obviously, you're not training super hard this last week or so, but you've talked about how grueling the camp was, all those days of wrestling and just preparing for the style that you're going to face. Do you feel now at this point, though, like, very fresh going into the fight despite having that grueling camp?
Yeah. Fight week, I've been like this my whole career. I don't do a lot of crazy training on fight week. Some guys like to do intense stuff. I'll roll around light, hit pads, break sweats here and there, and that's all I do. I don't push it too crazy. I'll go for a morning run, you know, depending on where my weight's at and stuff. But this week is the week to heal. I've been grinding for 10 straight weeks. This is to let my body heal and come together and be the best.
Yeah, and talking about a little bit about the actual fight with Khabib, you know, everyone kind of asks you about the undefeated fighter and, you know, everything you've been through and stuff. But going into this, like, he hasn't faced a ton of adversity in his fights, really, like moments he's had to come back through in the actual fights. There's, you know, maybe Michael Johnson landed some nice straight punches, Edson Barboza landed like a nice spinning kick and stuff. But how important, you know, how do you think he's going to react in those moments when you have to put him in some adversity? I know there's a lot of guesswork that goes into fighting and you don't really know exactly, but how do you kind of feel about it?
I mean, I think he's going to be tough and grind through. If he hits adversity, he's going to keep pushing forward. Seems like that kind of guy, but you know, until we see it happen or until he's put in that position, it's tough to say. I really don't know. But the plan is to put him in those positions.
Who do you think has more pressure going into this fight? I mean, you've had such a long road to this fight. You know, the second longest road to a title unifier, undisputed title fight in UFC history behind Michael Bisping. He's, you know, fighting here at home. You know, has his father in his corner for the first time in the UFC career. Kind of this event more or less is built around him in a lot of ways for this market. Do you think there's more pressure on him to kind of perform than you, who've obviously you know, had a really long road to this opportunity?
I always put a lot of pressure on myself, but he probably has more pressure to perform. You know, everybody's counting me out, right? I can only do better than what they think. You know, I'm not, so they're holding him to such a high standard. He has to go out there and dominate me, right? Or he's going to do less than everybody expects him to do. Right. So I think he probably has more pressure coming into that.
Yeah, fair enough. And you've said in a few interviews, like in the past few days, if you win this fight, you feel you're the best lightweight ever. When did this idea pop into your head? Because I hadn't heard you really express that until just very, very recently.
Just the run I'm on right now. You know, if I go out there and stop Khabib, that's the current featherweight champ, the current lightweight champ, beat them both back to back. Then look at the other champs I beat: Pettis, Eddie, Gaethje. I mean, that's a lot of champions in a row. And the perseverance I've had to show to get to this point, to even have this opportunity, I think is a part of that story of being the best.
You have, that reminds me, the word perseverance. Since November 12th, 2016, you've had that tweet posted on your profile, you know, pinned up there. It's all about perseverance, and you've kept it up there for years at this point. How much does that depict kind of your attitude and everything you've been through? I know you've talked a lot about, you know, you have 25 minutes to make life fair and everything, but is that something you just keep up there to remind yourself of maybe the lows you've experienced or anything like that?
Yeah, that's doesn't just matter to fighting. That's anything. You just got to keep chipping away, stay true to the path, like I've always said, and have self-belief, and you can make, you know, pretty much anything happen if you just keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward, and that's what fighting is, and then that's what a lot of things in life, accomplishing great things, is that just consistency and persevering through bad times, and you know, I'm gonna have to do that Saturday night. You know, adversity's probably going to present itself to me once again in a fight, and I'm going to have to persevere through that, get to the next round, and dig deep. You know, I know it's probably going to be that type of fight with Khabib, but I'm prepared for that, and I'm ready for that.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, you do everything right. You carry yourself very well. You do the stuff outside the cage with the charity and everything. It seems like you win this fight, you're going to be a very model champion for the UFC. I'm curious what you think about Khabib, though. I haven't really ever heard you talk about, you know, the brawl and stuff, everything that happened after the Conor fight. Do you think he carries himself like that? He's been a good champion for the UFC, that he's, you know, conducted himself more or less like he should?
First off, I'm happy to be painted in that light, but I'm a man and do dumb stuff all the time and say dumb stuff, and you know, I'm not perfect by far, but I'm just trying to use my platform for the good, and you know, just be a good person. It just feels good, it feels right, you know, but I don't want to paint myself in that picture, the perfect champ. I'm just a guy chasing dreams and trying to help other people out along the way. Khabib seems very respectful. I mean, getting into the fight after the Conor match, I don't judge his personality just by that moment. Right. You know, so far I think he's been very respectful in the build up to this fight with me. I never see him really bad mouthing people leading up to other fights. Other than that, I don't know him personally. I don't really read a lot of news about him or what's going on in his personal life. I don't know.
Right, for sure. And I mean, you are doing a lot of very good stuff outside the cage as well. Maybe for people who aren't following it super closely, can you just remind them exactly what you're doing for this fight with the Good Fight Foundation and working with Justin Wren and Fight for the Forgotten?
Yeah, me and Justin Wren, our charities are teaming up, and we're building a solar-powered well for the Pygmy people in Uganda. They recently had a really bad flood, and it ruined their water system at an orphanage and school there. So we set a goal. You can donate at thegoodfightgroup.com or Fight for the Forgotten. And we're going to also build a water tower. So this is the first time my charity has gone outside of the U.S., and first time it's gone outside of Louisiana. And I knew this was a big fight, and I had an even bigger platform to use, so we wanted to try to do the biggest things we could, and this kind of came together really smoothly with Justin. My wife reached out to him, and he said, and just let us know how recently they had a flood that ruined the water supply, and I knew right away. I said, okay, we're going to run with this. Let's do it. Let's make this happen. And it just felt, when it feels right and things just sync together smoothly, that's how I know it's the right thing we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure furthering your own financial situation will help build this even bigger. And I'm curious, you told me a few fights ago that you had signed the new UFC contract that had championship language in it, and then you got the interim title, which Dana had said that kind of brings you into the fold a little bit in terms of getting the championship pay. Without going too much into details, but is this fight, the payday that it's going to bring, is that going to be a life-changing thing for you, your wife, your daughter, all those things?
It just depends on how the pay-per-view does.
Right.
This is my first fight being a pay-per-view partner with the UFC. I see some articles saying that it's trending to do very well. For my sake, I hope it does, obviously. But yeah, we'll see when the pay-per-view numbers come in.
Yeah, and I mentioned Jolie quickly there. It's your guys' 10-year anniversary today. Wedding anniversary. I mean, does that, I know she's not here yet for the fight, but she will be soon. Does that make you, step back a little bit and kind of reflect on the bigger picture of, everything you've been through and your guys' journey together? For
sure. She landed in Dubai last night. She was texting me. She texted me today. She's going to drive here tomorrow. She's with family in Dubai for the day. Mm-hmm. And it's just so far away from where we came from, to be spending my 10-year wedding anniversary in Abu Dhabi is just like, I couldn't have thought that, I couldn't have dreamed that whenever I was a young kid, 19 or 20 getting married. It's crazy, man. It's a dream. I'm living it up.
Yeah, and I was watching Fightville again recently, just in preparation for this week and everything. How often do you sit back and kind of reflect on where you've come from since then to where you are now? And is it maybe tough to do that sometimes because you need to focus on the now, and you obviously have so much more ahead of you that you want to do too?
Yeah, I've been in a lot of big fights, and that movie Fightville captured a chunk of my end of my amateur career and beginning of my pro career. Mm-hmm. So it's awesome to have that, but I don't really, I don't even talk about it that much. A lot of people don't even know about the film. Newer fans don't know about the film. I've probably seen it once in the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Maybe after this one, after I knock Khabib out, I'll go home and watch it. It'll be that much sweeter, man.
Yeah, so that's we can end it very shortly here, but that's kind of how you're feeling this fight's going to go. Do you sense a knockout there? You're actually tied for the second most knockouts in the history of the lightweight division, so if you do knock him out, you'll be number 1 on that list now.
That's great, because my UFC career was half spin at featherweight,
right?
And I have a few knockouts there, so I would be on top of that list. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be great. Another record added to the strap.
Yeah, is that the most likely way? I know one of your coaches had mentioned he had a dream that you submitted him, but do you feel like when you watch it play out, is the knockout something you kind of see more?
I don't know. I just feel I'm going to finish him. I think I can submit him, and I think I can knock him out. It just depends how the fight unfolds and what mistakes he makes.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to it, Dustin. I really appreciate you taking the time and kind of the special environment here. You got a really cool villa and everything to help you prepare for this fight. And actually, one last thing I did want to ask, why do you not spend the fight weeks in the fighter hotel and kind of decide to do your own thing here?
Because when I was younger with the UFC, I used to spend fight week in the fighter hotel and get moved around and schooled around by the UFC in the transport they set up and stuff. But I just felt like I was being part of a system with that, Right. I just wanted to get away from the fighters and the fans hanging out at the hotel and do my own thing like I do every day. We rent a car and do my own thing. Show up to the the places UFC needs us for open workouts or media interviews, whatever they send me my itinerary, I show up to those things and that's it. You know, I don't need to be schooled around and brought to the grocery store. At a point in my career when I couldn't, you know, afford to like rent a Airbnb or rent a car when I was fighting, you know, obviously I didn't. But at this point, I like to be away from it.
Yeah, and just last thing, you mentioned so many times of visualizing this moment, making it happen. What's the thing once you win this fight on Saturday that you are most excited for, or you most look forward for? Is it to, you know, say to Jolie that, you know, promise is completely fulfilled now that I'm going to be a world champion? Is it to go home to Parker? What's the thing that, you know, makes you most excited?
Just to get all the way to the pinnacle, you know, because there's always going to be people saying, I did it. I did it. I'm a world champion. You know, I checked that box. This fight is about starting a legacy. It's about doing something that's never been done, being the first to climb that mountain, and just being great. You know, I have an opportunity to be great, do something that's never been done in a place that's far away and built for this event. It just feels really special to me, you know, but when I get back home to my daughter, we're going to the zoo. I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, we're excited. Thank you so much for the time, Dustin. We're looking forward to Saturday. Thank you.